Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Every scar tells a tale untold. Every breath makes the night grow cold. The hunter's heart and the prey's last rhyme all collide in the world of true crime. Truth is lurking in the lies they feed. Justice waits for those who breathe. Through the dark we'll trace the line. Welcome to the world of true crime.
Hey, hello everybody. Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Shawn Kelly. I'm still a little bit under the weather right now, but nothing will take me away from you guys in my Sundays and Tuesday nights, and I'm okay with that. The only way I'll miss a show is if I'm really, really tired or I'm dead, so I'm still hanging in there. But I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you my hour of Into the Night on Sundays and Tuesday nights, 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. Don't forget, everybody, right after my show at 9:10 p.m. Eastern, we got Miss C.L. Thomas, and it's her Gateway Podcast. And I guess you guys know that CL is going to co-host with me every other Sunday night on Into the Night, which I think is like totally awesome, And her guest tonight, CL's guest tonight, he's a medium, and his name is Rick Hayes. So maybe if you might pop on over there, give her some love. We'll see what happens. And maybe you might get an answer or something. Who knows? From the other side. But, go, please. Check our show out. And people in the chat room, hello, Vic Girl. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Michelle Wilford, thank you. Mish, good day to you, dear. It's going to be one of those evenings, everybody. I just got booted, but I'll be back. Please don't leave. If I get booted again, please do not leave. My internet sucks today. Kurt, good to see you, sir. Glad I'm doing better. Just a little bit still under the weather, but I'm doing okay. Um, so I do highly apologize for getting booted off here. Um, so just bear with this show. If I get booted, I will be back as soon as possible. I don't know. It was crazy. I was watching TikTok today, and all of a sudden, you know how they have them little videos that go on that you can watch on TikTok, and I came across something really dark. Okay, and it was about a fairy tales. You know that um, is seen in a different type of light of some sort. Now, here's the deal with that. The first one that I saw was about Peter Pan. Okay. And it kind of like blew me away because like Peter Pan was like one of my favorite Disney shows. And I always believe he was young, he was happy, and he took a lot of the kids to, Never Ever Land. But whoever came up with this video really took it for a twist. Okay, took a twist to it. Hey, Cindy Mitch, good to see you, hon. And he said, and I guess the narrator said, well, what if Peter Pan was the bad guy? Let me repeat that. What if Peter Pan was the bad guy, who was the evil guy? And the story behind Captain Hook was that he once was a lost boy. Now, see, the lost boys, according to this dude, okay, are boys that Peter Pan killed. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Z, hope I get it right tonight. And that he killed all these boys because he didn't want them to grow up. And he took them to this island. Well, Captain Hook was one of those lost boys. But the only problem with Captain Hook was he grew up. And Peter Pan didn't like that. And so Peter Pan was so mad at Captain Hook that he literally kicked him off the island and put him on an abandoned pirate ship. And Captain Hook was out there trying to save these boys from Peter Pan. Now, I hope you're going along with this. But Peter Pan wasn't a good dude, according to this guy. Right? According to this guy. And here's the sad thing. Tinkerbell, she had that pixie dust. Well, in this video, this dude believed that Tinkerbell, oh, that good to see. Okay, I'm glad you're home. But Tinkerbell, to this guy, was a slave to Peter Pan. And this, and I'm watching this, and it's like blowing me away hearing this. And for all of us who like fairies and fays, kind of felt bad for Tinkerbell. But you know how she had the pixie dust, that would make people fly, and I guess make things good for Peter Pan. But the only way that they got that pixie dust, the backstory to the pixie dust, is that the only way for the pixie dust to get pixie dust was all the other fairies, the fays, got killed. And that's how they collected their pixie dust. And it just like totally blew me away. Blew me away like, wow. And I had to watch it 2 or 3 times to absorb it. Let me ask you guys this question, and I would like to have an answer if you can give it. What do you think of that? What do you think of that story? I have a couple more, that I'm going to bring up later on, but I'd like to get your thoughts on what you think about this deal with Peter Pan, of him being the evil one. I mean, we were taught from a long time ago, and I know I've been watching Peter Pan for a very, very long time, and I enjoyed it. I really, really did. And I don't know, it just like really, really like had me starting to think, is Disney that bad? Could Disney really put in some subliminal messages in their cartoons? I mean, I read this one where, Kurt says, that is really interesting. Peter Pan would be tricking and almost persuading, provoking these young, malleable minds, almost like demonic spirits and some others that are the evil going after children. Yes. So true, Kurt. I'm glad you shared that. Kurt says, but kind of goes along with the sad truth of children's television today. I never watched Nickelodeon, but I never watched no Nickelodeon shows. I don't do the Disney Channel, whatever you want to call it. I don't do that. But I've heard things about, the children television shows today. Now, another thing, right before I was checking out some more stuff, now Donald Duck. This is something, okay? This is the dark side of Donald Duck. Donald Duck, the people who wrote this or did this cartoon does not believe that Donald Duck was a duck, but it was a soldier in a war that came home from the war, and he had a lot of anxiety, a lot of anger. He screamed a lot. And I'm thinking, no, this dude's off his rocker by saying this. That girl says, considering all the stories that got warped through time and translations from original source, I personally am open to the benefit of the doubt. Very rabbit hole work. Yes, ma'am, it is a rabbit hole. But that's one rabbit hole I don't want to go down, not just yet, for me. But Donald Duck was a soldier in a war, and he came back. You know how Donald Duck screamed and yelled and was angry and all that kind of stuff. Well, they believe that was the mind of the soldier that persuaded Donald Duck. That was just like Donald Duck. Now, Donald Duck had 3 nephews. I don't know their names. Hey, Donna, good to see you, hon. Thank you for stopping in. So Donald Duck had 3 nephews. I don't know their names. But they were at, I do believe, the dentist or getting a haircut, whatever. And there's a sign, eye doctor, whatever. I forget what it was. But if you look at that scene, And you know how the eye doctors, you have those letters that Miss says Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Thank you, Miss. Now, on the sign of that office, you know how you got, when you go to the eye doctor, they have them letters. But if you look at the sign that's hanging up on the wall, I never realized this. It says, ask about the Illuminati. Okay. And I'm sure everybody out there knows about the Illuminati. I'm not getting into it. This isn't the show to get into it. What was Disney corrupt back then? That girl says an example is Disney version versus original Grimm's fairy tales from the original German. And if you're talking about the Grimm's fairy tales, man, they were dark, man. They were bad. Whoever wrote the Grimm tales or whatever, man, I'd be suing Disney for all the money for what they did by making it so-called make it look pretty. But what else is crazy is how people can look at something today and something and just come up with your own conclusion on what you want to put out there. That girl says, just an example amongst all I have learned in the past decades. Mish likes Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes was cool. They talk about Looney Tunes. Think about it, right? Man, we were young Saturday morning. Sorry about that again. That's 2 times. I think last week was 3. I'm not sure. I'm not going to talk about Looney Tunes tonight. Next, Mom. That girl says, actually, I love the Grimm's versions better, but then again, apparently. Um, and if you like the Grimm's versions, that's great. That's great. Please excuse me again for getting knocked off. And that's why I want to ask you guys. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, too, while we're here. Why is it paranormal that I'm getting bumped off my show? Yes, it is, Wildlight. Yes, it is. But is it is it paranormal that I just getting booed off, or do you think, hey, Mark Eddie, or do you think maybe it's because some big brother is watching the show and they do not want me, talking about shit? I don't know. Mish says it's the sun. Okay, I'd like to hear your opinions on that. But back to Disney. I mean, is Disney that bad? Did Disney deliberately try to hide all that stuff from us? Gremlins. I don't know. I don't know about Gremlins. I'm sure they're here. But I don't know about Gremlins. So I don't know about Donald Duck being that soldier, coming from a war and has all them anxieties and stuff like that. I mean, it was like crazy. It was crazy watching all this stuff. And it just wasn't, Donald Duck, nor was it Peter Pan. It was a lot of other things. Kurt says, almost none of my TV channels have been working for like the last 2 weeks. Mish, the solar flares or winds that's been kicking up. Holy crap, Kurt. That's crazy. One day we're going to do a show on solar flares. We're going to talk about it because you know what? I've heard people talk about it. I've been on shows about it, and I I don't understand them. Mitch says they were in a time where war was a big thing. Yeah, it was, Mitch. I want to say I don't even know when Donald Duck came out. I'll find out now. What year did Donald Duck came out? 1934, which would have been World War One. That girl says I shut off my TV walking by it, so do not tech as well. Okay. You know, I mean, at one point in time, my energy was I would touch something, the light bulbs would go out. But that's been a while. It's been a long time since that happened. But look at Snow White. Okay. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it, but Snow White died. She was laid in the glass coffin. That girl, she has coffee and tea. Make your orders. I need my friends. Hey, Vet, you know, how about give me like a triple order of cappuccino, honey, with milk and ice? I would appreciate it. I need it. Oh, Heidi. Oh, welcome, hon. I'm on my daughter's phone. We're going out to eat. I'm not driving. Yay, I'll be here until my daughter wants her phone back. LL. I'm glad that you stopped in, Heidi. That girl's making her coffee, so I just put it in. She says, I don't even have to touch anything anymore. But you know what? Sleeping Beauty. You know, I was looking at that. And we all know she definitely died. And she was in that glass coffin. And the so-called, thank you, Bet. And so this prince came up, gave her a kiss, and she awoke. And if you look in the book and look into the story, okay, it says that the two of them were going to a place where no humans could go. And at the end, you see a big white castle in the clouds. Okay. And so you see Heidi on the white horse. Not Heidi on the white, not Heidi, Sleeping Beauty. I guess we can call Heidi Sleeping Beauty. That's cool. But in the prince. But there are people out there that believe that the so-called prince was actually death. And death came and took Snow White to heaven. No shit, I'm telling you. Hey, Cassie, good to see you. Cassie Gold, well, welcome to the room, Cassie. It's so good to see you. Wow. Tell your mom I said hello, Cass. I appreciate it. I appreciate if you tell your mom hello. But get her a new phone too. But no, that's but for it's just amazing. It's just crazy how they just come up. I know you are. I know you are, Heidi. I'm just messing with you. I'm just joshing you. That's all. But and I can actually see that. But to come up as it was death and not a prince that came and got Snow White and took her to heaven. It's just really, really crazy. So much. I mean, I've been watching these suckers all day, all these videos all day. You know? and then Little Red Riding Hood. Okay, you got two things going on there. You got two different stories that are dark. But you know what? Before I get into the Little Red Riding Hood, I know I'm kind of early, but I do want to go to a break. Okay. And when I come back, I'll finish up with Snow White and maybe another one. But so everybody go get your coffee. Shawn, you're getting me curious about these. Also, I'm gonna have to watch some. There you go, sir. Ah, curiosity killed my cat today, buddy. It sure did. But I'm gonna be back in about a minute and a half, and so go out, go to the bathroom, grab a cigarette, get some coffee, and I'll see you back here in about a minute and a half. And roll, and I will roll some of the things. There you go.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
The Church of Mavis radio show, Friday nights at 8 p.m., 7 Central. Starring Jeffrey Pritchett with his co-hosts Wham and Jay McNicholas, right here on the United Paranormal Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM, New Orleans.
Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans.
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I hope you got your cigarette, went to the bathroom, and do what you had to do. I want to, again, that was the first part. Welcome to the second part of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you an hour on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. There are also a bunch. Hey, CL, good to see you. And there she is, everybody. My dear friend, my co-host every other Sunday. Hey, Squatch Man. CL, she has her podcast right after mine. It's called The Gateway Podcast. And it is like one of the best podcasts out there on UPRN Talk Radio. I mean, they're all good, but, you know, since me and CL, we really cover the Tuesday nighters, we do pretty good. Her guest tonight is a medium. His name is Rick Hayes. And so, if you're not doing nothing right after my show, hit the link and go over and check her show out. So, come over and give her some love. Scott's man, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you for coming on, dude. Appreciate it. So, in the first part of the show, we were talking about how dark Disney can get. Okay. But what we want to do, we talked about how Donald Duck, his actual character, was about a wounded a soldier that was in a war and he just came back with a lot of PTSD and all that kind of stuff. We also talked about how Snow White was actually, the ending of Snow White. This prince came up to her and gave her a kiss on the lips, and she arose and took her, to a kingdom where no human being can go. And it was a white castle in clouds, so that could understand like it could have been heaven. But now I want to get into Little Red Riding Hood for a little bit here, okay? So we all know that Little Red Riding Hood, she wanted to take some goodies to her grandma's house, okay? And so she left her town and started walking the path through the woods. And so Little Red Riding Hood was missing for about 3 or 4 days. Okay. And so the townspeople went out looking for her. Well, as they were walking the path to her grandma's house, okay, they saw her red coat hanging from a tree. And it kind of like really freaked everybody out because, all right, there's her coat hanging, but where's Little Red Riding Hood? No one could find her. And as they continued, walking down the path, they came upon a little like cabin for people who hunt. And when they went into this cabin, they saw, food there. They saw jewelry there. They found all kinds of different clothes, the whole 9 yards. But come to find out, okay, that the person who lived in that cabin was a man who was actually called Wolf. Okay. And that's where you are getting Little Red Riding Hood meeting with the big bad wolf. That's one version. Now let me come back at you with this. Okay. What if the big bad wolf, hey Joe Fox, good to see you. What if the big bad wolf was the grandmother? Think about it. What if? I mean, you got one dude talking about this guy who lived there as a wolf because he was big and gnarly. And they also said that there was like other girls that went missing whenever they took that path down there. Okay. But that was based off a true story, I think down the road, because I really didn't have time to copy it down, some notes on it. Maybe I can talk to CL and we can talk about that next Sunday. Or we can talk about Dark Empaths. I found out about Dark Empaths. I'm a Dark Empath. Never heard of Dark Empaths before, but, the more I read up on it, the more that I am. But I'm not dark. I'm not evil. It's something. If you really want to know about Dark Empaths, read up on it. But yeah, could it be the grandmother? Little Red Riding Hood. Huh? That would be crazy. But it's amazing how people just use their minds. But I want to go with the true story on that. Okay. That when she walked in woods, she was taken by a man and was never seen again. You know. So it's like it's like really creepy. You know. The Mickey Mouse. You know. Disney found it. You know, etched on a stone before Mickey Mouse was ever invented. And this thing that they saw on the stone, the thing that looked like Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney, he took a picture of it or copied it, and he got a copyright, and that's how Mickey Mouse became. And I do believe that's when Disney really started to fall apart. Really fall apart on that. Snow White, not Snow White, I'm sorry, Cinderella. You know, you had Cinderella, and she had that glass slipper. But here's the crazy thing. The evil sisters, okay, hi, I'm back. That's number 3. We'll see what happens if I get number 4. But back to the evil sisters, right? You know how the prince, so-called, went around the whole trying to find who fit in these glass slippers, and come to find out that the true story behind that was the one sister cut her toes off to try to fit into the shoe, and the other sister, you know, cut off her back heel so she could try to fit into the shoes. So it wasn't really a happy ending in Cinderella, you know. But here's a crazy one now. Here's a really crazy one. Thank you, Vet Girl. Appreciate it. Here's a crazy one now. Oh, I hope Audrey's not listening to this. I hope she's not. But Beauty and the Beast. Okay, that was a crazy thing to read up on or watch. Belle was a girl in this village, and she was like Gaston. Well, that makes it 4. Got my record today. Sorry about that again. Yes, but Belle, like a Beauty and the Beast, Belle was looking for a rich man, wanted money, and the only thing, thank you, Miss. Um, the only thing with Gaston was he's poor and he didn't have no money. Okay, but she found out about an old man who lived in the mansion back in the woods, and she went to that guy, and I guess she did her thing in order to catch his eye. Thank you, Becker. I appreciate it. Long story short, if you look at the Disney film Beauty and the Beast was an old man who wasn't a happy old man. It was a nasty old man, and he was very, very mean. and not too nice to Belle. And Gaston learned about this old man. So he went and he tried to save Belle. Thank you, Vet. Appreciate it. Vet got the coffee. You're so delicious. But so it's like I said before, and I'll say it again. That was craziness about Disney. My favorite. In fact, I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask everybody this again. Not again, but I'm going to ask you again before I get booted off. What is everybody's favorite Disney film, movie, or Disney film? Yeah, Disney film. I will tell you mine. Lady and the Tramp. That was the best Disney show I really enjoyed. Kurt says, I was going to ask you about Beauty and the Beast, Shawn. Seemed the story could be all kinds of ways. Was there anything about the Smurfs or the little people? Just curious. You know what? No, there wasn't, Kurt. I didn't really read about. I didn't see nothing about the Smurfs or the little people. And everyone knows that the Smurfs were little blue people, and I'm sure, Kurt. I have no doubt in my mind that there is something behind the Smurfs. Mish said, looked up where the term fairy tale comes from. Googled it. Okay. But it was an interesting show tonight. They were, see how they were Smurfy. I like that. Oh, 59. Fairy tales from 1697. Wow. I'm going to have to deep down into this because it was just fascinating. And I don't know what you guys think. If you want me to continue to do some shows about this, but fairy tales and stuff like that, I'd be more and happy to bring it on and do some more shows about them. Because even though it sounds like really nasty and bad, but in a way it's very, very intriguing. Very intriguing. And if you guys are okay with it, we can bring it up. Miss says, yes, very interesting. That's fine. Okay, great. We can do that. But so who's favorite? Tell me, everybody. CL, Mish, everybody else in there. Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite Disney show? Excuse me. Kurt says, you opened a can of worms for us. It seems to be, Shawn, yes, I would like some more shows about this. It's interesting. You got it, brother. We can do that. Mitch says, I know one of the Disney movies has a group dancing around, and one says dickhead. Veckrell says, I love all the movies, animations, remakes, CGI, live action. I love everyone's take on the stories, but I love the books even more. I'm actually learning languages so I can read in their original. Oh, that's awesome, Vet. That's awesome, girl. Miss says she's not actually sure. That's awesome, Vet. That'd be pretty cool. But I don't know. We will do more shows about this, and then I'll come more prepared, for it. But I was just, that's why I didn't put the show up until this morning, because I was looking through these, like when I woke up, and I'm thinking this would be interesting. Kurt says, probably not Disney, but did anyone ever watch Indian in the Cupboard? No, I didn't, buddy. I never saw it. And Kurt wants to know, anybody out there watch the Indian in the Cupboard? But now, with doing this type of show, it makes me think, it makes me wonder, what was Disney really like? I mean, they got a bad reputation going on right now. But I tell you, whoever wrote those shows, whoever wrote those movies, okay, really did a very good job at hiding them, hiding, hiding the true meaning about it. This was like totally brutally insane. But what I want to do is get into real quick, um, and also as I was going through, and I'm definitely going to do a show on this with CL next week, next Sunday. Kurt says it was Disney, but not too old. It's from 1995. Okay. But as I was going through TikTok today, all of a sudden, a dark empath came up. And a dark empath is not a narcissist, nor, you know, it is light, but it's not a narcissist. It's like you can pick up on everything, on everybody's energies, stuff like that. I really can't get into it now because we are getting close. That girl says, right now I'm getting a collection of Grimm fairy tales in German, Kinder and Haschmachen. Hi, interesting. But, you know, you guys can, if you want to, Google dark empaths. We're definitely going to talk about that. But you know what? We're coming up on the end of the show here pretty soon. You know, is there anything on anybody's mind that they would like to get rid of? Is there anything people want to talk about? You know, we got about 2 more minutes. I just want to say again that you guys are my guardian angels, and I look forward to coming on Sundays and Tuesday nights. And everything's going to be okay, everybody. It really will be. Hopefully one day there will be no more wars, you know, stuff like that. And I just know in my heart it's going to be okay. The weather here in Pittsburgh is still hot as hell and very humid. And I am getting over this cold. I don't know, when you work in cold and then you go into the hot, stuff like that. But next Tuesday, I am going to have, my guest will be Law Bright. And she will be here next Tuesday night. During the week, I'll bring up some more information about her, and I hope everybody can tune in to watch her show. Give her some, take vitamin C, Mitch. Okay, I will. Mitch says it's winter here. Beautiful day. Yeah, you're in Australia, so it's opposite weather. Okay. But so Lala Bright will be in next Tuesday. Thank you, Steve. Good, Mr. Wojo. We'll try. Kurt says, thanks for another great show, Shawn. I love these shows. They just fly by too damn fast. But we have a great group of people that come in here. Small, but all like-minded and no one better. So thanks, everyone. Yes, too fast, that girl. Thank you for that big compliment, Kurt. I truly, truly appreciate it, sir. And on that note, children, if you can, children, please go to your children, parents. I'm sorry. I'm just like so tuned in to what I need to do next that I'm totally forgetting. Okay, I'm here. So children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Okay? And if you cannot find if you don't have no children, and if you have no parents, find somebody and tell them that you love them and give them a hug. because those 3 words, they go a very long way. Don't forget, everybody, right after my show, 9:10, CL, the Gateway Podcast, she'll be on right after my show, 9:10. Her guest will be Medium Rick Hayes. So go over there and give her some love. Okay, guys? And on that note, good night, happy hunting, and I will see you Sunday. Stay safe and sweet.